Well, I should definitely be inside for the level of noise that is going on in my neighborhood. Hey there. How do I let you in? There we go. What is this shit with the streets being blocked off now? I mean, and did everyone just like, hi,
Hi.
I was just thinking about, are your streets closed off so that like everybody can walk the streets now?
No, I
Yeah.
haven't seen a single. Is yours closed off?
Yeah, and it's like everyone just burst a very loud 7-year-old child all at once. And they're all screaming all of the time. I was
It's
just saying,
spring.
I should not be outside doing this live at 5 o'clock, especially because you'll hear the shit is going to get redonk. Like
I think the
instantly.
street is way louder because just everybody's out now.
Dude. And did you hear the helicopters
Yeah,
today,
there's
too?
some outside my house too.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so we changed the time of Throw Up Thursdays because 3 o'clock wasn't really working, particularly for West Coasters. So we'll see if this one works. So the whole idea is you guys can ask questions. I will answer them. This is not therapy. It is definitely not anything medical either. So no suing, just asking. It's entertainment, it's coaching. It's a good time. Also, just to review, the questions are to be about like, hey, how can you help me, JJ, in my life? Not, hey, JJ, what's your preferred kink? Or some sort of commentary on my physical appearance. We're not so into that. That's not what this is about. So,
Not so much.
not so much. Joining me once again is Olivia. She is one of our docs in Unorthodox Inc. And what that means is Olivia was a former patient turned participant, client. We don't say patient anymore. We don't like that. A little too patriarchal for our flavor. And since Olivia and many of her counterparts are more emotionally intelligent than many, if not all, of the doctoral students that I supervise, they are now referred to as docs at Unorthodox Inc. Yeah. So, to the system on that, because we do what works at Unorthodox Inc., not what is traditional. Punk alternative, that's what it's about. So, welcome back, Olivia. It's
Good
great
to
to
be
have you
back.
back. You know, I did the alone one last time, which is fine, and I think I should do that once in a while, but this is way more fun.
Yeah, it was good to hang out.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So, you compiled a list of some questions. You guys here that are on the live can ask questions as well, but we have some that have been collected just so, we got something to talk about. I need a prompt.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I don't like to just talk. I need a prompt. So, what do you think?
We can start with a question and then see where that takes us.
Cool. You were saying that they were a lot of COVID-y ones?
Yeah, so these are all from our docs and they're pretty COVID focused, which makes sense.
Yeah. I don't want all of these to be about COVID, but I've been kind of staying away from it. And I think that that's impossible because everybody's kind of suffering. And, I don't know. Everybody's like in hyperdrive. Everybody's anxious. It's just, yeah, I don't think I can stay away from it forever.
The thing about COVID is that it's making a lot of other things that are going on under the surface. Like, the questions are about COVID, but they're not really about just COVID. It's like,
Ooh.
it brings up these deeper things that people aren't having to face.
Okay, lay it on me. What are we talking about?
Okay. All right, let's think one that's good for that. Okay, so here's one. So what are some coping mechanisms I can utilize to not future trip about all of the uncertainties of coronavirus, particularly when it comes to financial instability?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, okay, this is what we always do. We validate before we problem solve. So easy to validate money stress right now. And Man, don't take it from me. Buddhists, everybody says this. You don't trip on the stuff you can't control. Listen to AA people, do the serenity, it's, is it doing you any good? Because I mean, it's not like I don't have panic about money from time to time too. And you know what? It's often um right before like I lie. I don't know. I never quite, Catholic school whipped me into shape on everything except the lay and lie. Anyway, right before I get in bed to go to sleep, it seems to be a patterned, that or when upon waking. So I
Mm.
think like my brain is not all the way awake or it's tired, which, as we know, when you're tired, you're vulnerable to emotion mind. So you're more vulnerable to an emotional dysregulation. I think that's when the gremlin sneaks in there with the worry thoughts and it can really get to us. So
Yeah.
if you notice a pattern of time of day, or if you're hungry, if you haven't had enough water, check all the regular like self-care shit before taking your worry thoughts too seriously, is what money or anything else. Just check eating, sleeping, water for sure. Exercise, people. We have plenty of time to take walks right now. And I bet that you're not tripping about money on your walk. Exhibit A. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want to say anything about that, Olivia?
I mean, I think the future tripping and the fear of the uncontrollable is like so exaggerated right now because there's like this convenient thing, because I do that all the time, but now I'm like, oh, but now I get to do, or like this, my gremlin is latching onto the fact that there is a thing to be scared of. But a lot of the fears that are like centered around COVID are just fears that I have in general. So like my question was about, my mom went back to work this week, and so she's working at the hospital, and I
Yeah.
was really scared about her going back to work because I was worried that she was going to get sick. And like my question was like, how can I stop myself and help myself from obsessing about people I love getting sick? But now that she's like at work, I feel way less anxious. It was like the idea of her working than the active, what's actually happening. And it's totally just that control thing of just being like, and lost and being scared, and that's so valid.
Okay. First of all, anticipatory anxiety
Yes.
is a motherfucker. What
Yeah.
we make up, and it's almost like the better your imagination, the more you mind fuck yourself.
Yeah.
We make up things that are about to happen
Yeah.
way better, like they're much, much, much more catastrophic than what reality often is. Here's the bitch of it. See what I said? This shit. Um, white people in Oakland. So, okay. So here's the bitch about your situation in
Yeah.
particular, is because your dad actually died.
Yeah.
And so now we're not talking about your mom getting sick. We're talking about your mom dying. That's where your mind immediately goes. So, it, it's the same. You
Mm-hmm.
validate the fear, remind yourself that anticipatory anxiety, 99 times out of 100, is much worse than reality. So
Yeah.
once things actually start, you actually face a thing, it might still be scary, but it's probably not going to be the horror show
No.
dumpster fire that you created with your own mind.
Yeah.
And we forget that. You know that. And yet you do it all the fucking time.
All the time.
It's like, how am I reminding people 10,000 times about anticipatory anxiety? But it's like we forget in the moment because our anxiety is so high, and then it
And
just keeps churning.
it seems so real in the moment too.
Right.
And every time once it's over, I'm like, oh, yeah, that was what it was. But when it's happening, it's like, no, but this time it's not. And like, my mom's gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, It's like, I can
Yeah,
tell the future, which, like, no, I can't.
right.
Just because I have
And
had trauma does not mean that I can predict the future, which is like such a
totally.
lie that
And
we tell ourselves.
that's a thing here too. I mean, Bay Area with like so much intellectualism, I think that there is sort of an epidemic here of taking ourselves too seriously. And now add COVID to that. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, we're going to take everything way seriously when the thing that we actually need so badly is to laugh, to calm down our central nervous system, right? And to just like roll with it a little more easily because
Yeah.
there are sticking points everywhere. There are actual stressful things going on, and we are in a prolonged stressful situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, everything's going to be a potential sticking point. And we just don't have to do that because we're going to run our own immune systems down, stressing out
Yeah,
that. And
exactly.
what you should say something about the get to thing. You're like, oh, now
Oh,
I
the
get
get to,
to.
I know. It's like that's
Dude.
totally where my like one of my many gremlins like latches on to this like self-righteous like it's like a martyry victimy thing that I
Yeah.
have permission to spiral and that I get to do it because bad things have happened to me, which is like
You get
not
to
real.
make yourself suffer?
Exactly. The thing is like
Like,
it
how
doesn't
is that a
benefit
gift?
me either. It's like this very weird um I don't it's like this like way that I trick myself into thinking that like I'm letting myself it's like that like nasty self-care thing of just being like I'm going to make myself sad because I get to be sad now and it's like there's a difference between feeling sadness and then like wringing it out and like self-harm, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's some like emo shit. It's like some very old emo shit.
It's super emo, dude. Cheer up, emo kid. And that's the bitch is that we do want to validate our feelings. It's just come on with the churning. Especially you. You know better, dude.
Yeah,
You've been
I
taught
know.
the skills.
I know.
How you gonna lead people that don't know them when you're like,
Yeah.
ooh, I get to be a martyr? It's like, I get to be at home and like mentally cut myself while listening to fucking The Smiths. Oh, sorry, Bright
Yep.
Eyes for you guys.
Actually it's been a lot of Modest Mouse lately.
Oh,
So
all right.
oh
We
my
got
god.
another question or what?
Yeah, okay.
And you
So
guys can ask questions too if you got anything.
okay, this one's kind of related to that.
All right.
So this one says, I can feel an atmosphere of anxiety and grief in the world, and I find myself absorbing these emotions. How can I protect myself?
Oh my God. Do we know whose question
Torby.
is that? Is
Well,
it?
Torbs. Yeah.
Oh, did Torbs and I talk about that? Because I feel that. When I'm like out driving and shit, I'll just end up crying, and not like there's nothing to actually cry about,
Mm-hmm.
personally, but there's a distinct feeling of like it's not mine,
Mm.
and I think that we do pick up other people. I used to always call that like a depression cold or something. Like if interns are all and just regular people are always asking like how do you do a job like psychology and not just go home miserable. Well, you keep it off you with the bubble and just but when there's this much anxiety and grief in the world, I mean, don't you feel it? Or
I totally feel it. Yeah.
yeah, it can't be just be me.
No. Alyssa says empath.
I mean, it's total empath stuff, but I wasn't going to say it because I didn't want to get too woo about it. But, I do think that for sure.
I think it's also like something that, one of the things that you're learning with what's going on with COVID is like how connected the whole world is. And so, of course, like, the whole world is suffering and we're all going through this like really revelatory and like new thing that's gonna, like, you can't avoid that. Like, we're all going through the same thing. The whole world is like feeling that pain and that sadness. And I think it's like, I mean, like, of course, a certain amount of like, don't take on what's not yours in like a narcy kind of like, ooh, I'm sad way. But there is something that's like kind of beautiful about that connection
I
and
agree.
about,
I was
you know
going to
what I
say
mean?
the
Like, it's,
exact same thing.
yeah,
Yes, that it's, I mean, because people are, it's like their hearts kind of beating together.
yeah,
And we are feeling each other's pain, but also, you know, with the masks and stuff, I can see people's smile in their
yeah,
eyes. And like there's laughing back and forth and just like stupid jokes going to get that like fancy cheese at Market Hall, you know, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna help everything. And we both start laughing. I'm like, cheese band-aid, like just dumb shit. But
yeah,
we're all feeling stressed. So I think that when there's lightheartedness like that, we're
mm-hmm.
just like so ready for it and so hungry for it that we just have this like open heartedness toward
Yeah,
each other where all we have to do is send a little love and the person's going to pick right up on that.
yeah,
And why that is our job at Unorthodox, not martyring out. Go spread some love in
yeah.
the world.
It goes a long way. It
It
goes a
sure
really long
does.
way. And cheese band-aid, band name. Hell yeah. Oh man, yeah. No, definitely. And I think, I mean,
Have
like, there
you done
is,
that, Olivia? Have you done any sort of love spreading? Because you're funny too when you're not all emotionally constipated. Jesus.
I think so. I've done some like talking with friends and stuff and like sharing. Like Misa came over today and we sat in the backyard and we were just like having a really fun time talking about
Oh,
like,
do you not do any grocery shopping or go out for
no,
things?
not really.
Oh, so you're not
I went to go buy
interacting
a
with.
yeah, my mom is doing most of that. I went to go buy a plant the other day and I was the first time I've been out and it was like right after your last live and I did the thing where I was like immediately furious at anybody who got in my space. I was like, oh, how dare you? You're going to get me sick. Like, oh my God, like just so scared. And then I realized I also drove there. So my anxiety was already up because I was like driving. Um,
So you get to.
so I get to, so it's okay that I was like very aggro.
Okay,
Um,
so that's what I'm saying. Interacting with strangers, like you want to
to
be
do the
yourself.
opposite action.
I'm not fucking talking about opposite action today. The one damn time I'm not describing opposite action. Here is the thing
Okay.
is just get over yourself. Like the self-consciousness, the anxious self-centeredness. Like it is
Yeah.
relieving to you to focus on the other person and send them kindness.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to relieve the anxiety in you. So why the hell wouldn't you do that? You know, like I don't give a goddamn you drove there. Yes, that causes you stress. Easy to validate. Yes.
Yeah.
And
And I know better. And that doesn't mean that I am not kind
that's
or
right.
act in a way that goes against my values.
You're kind of lucky that we're not in person right now because I feel like giving you a spanking. Somebody needs a spanking.
Thanks, COVID. No, I mean, yeah,
You're
definitely.
being willful, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, quit it, Olivia. Oh my gosh. Can you get okay, here's your job for between now and the next time we do this live.
Okay.
You figure out the heart of that. I think there's probably something somewhat legitimate there, like mom dying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that's legitimate because anything's
She's
going to
gonna,
happen to
yeah,
her.
no, yeah.
And you're still going to have to manage that.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's at the heart of it. But you know what? It might not even be something that legit. It could just be willful shit that you are
Mm-hmm.
engaging in just because you wanna,
Yeah.
which we do
Because
not
I get
do,
to.
my dear. Yeah, you don't get to. Now I got eyes on you. You don't get to act out and just go emo. You're supposed to be leading. We are leading this whole thing because we have this
Yeah.
emotional intelligence skills. My God, you're so getting a spanking. All right, give me another question.
Okay.
Pain in
This
the
one,
ass.
you love me. This one is
I do love you.
I heard the term quarantine fatigue today in reference to people starting to break social distancing
Oh,
guidelines more often as of May. I'm super feeling this quarantine fatigue, really wanting to be around people and having impulses to behave out of line with my values regarding social distancing. How do I manage this impulse? Grace. Said it. That was Grace's question.
um, first of all, fatigue. I mean, I just in general, I think people are pretty tired of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't actually think. I mean, that's the validation piece. But problem solving wise, my advice is suck it up, Buttercup. For several reasons. One is, yeah, you're tired. We're all tired, and we don't want a second wave of this shit where we have to be inside longer. But also, in like dialectical behavior therapy terms, of which Grace is a graduate, we do not give ourselves permission to behave in a way that doesn't match our values. Grace even said something. They were like, oh, it doesn't match my values, or I'm tempted to act not according to
Mm-hmm.
my values. Well,
Mm-hmm.
don't. I mean, where in every bit that Grace has learned about DVT has it ever said, oh, you act according to your values, except
Except when it gets
when
hard.
you don't feel like it? I mean, but it's more important now. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we're so riding that line of becoming emotionally dysregulated because of anything.
Yeah.
The last fucking thing you want to do is behave in a way that violates your own values and then cause the experience of shame.
Yeah.
Justified shame because you violated your values. Nobody needs that. It is scary enough to just deal with what the hell is going on in the world right now. That's fear. We can manage fear. We have the skills for that. Now you add shame on top of fear by your own hand. Do not. I really suggest you don't do that. That is going to feel incredibly crummy, and crummy's not an emotion. I mean, do you have something to add to that?
I mean, I think that's real. And I think part of that is just spring and like the spring. I mean, because like in spring, I get this
And
impulse
everybody
to
acts
like,
out. Yeah.
everyone acts out and like, does the opposite of what they know and like makes messes. And that,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
like the
true.
fact that it's May and it's nice out, like I'm like, oh man, this time of year I'm going to the beach and I'm
Yeah.
hanging out with all my friends, and there's loss in that too, I think.
For sure. And there are things you can hang out and be
Yeah.
6 feet apart, like don't share here's the problem that I've been hearing, particularly from young people, is once you like go out of your house to socialize at all, there is slippage on the 6 feet thing and all that, and the mask wearing and all that, and you got to make your decisions based on your own values, uh, and some information. But then you add drinking, particularly day drinking that creeps up on you, to that mix. And then young people are just fucking, it's not just young people, to be fair to you guys, but
Mm-hmm.
like, then people are just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And now we're sharing shit with our mouths. Like, what? What? No, 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 no. And many people make many dumb decisions while drinking, particularly day drinking.
Yeah.
So you definitely don't want to. You don't want to do that. Just keep the mask on and go out and be apart. Grace, hi. We just did your question. You're gonna love that. I thought, damn it, I thought they were already on too. Well, we'll discuss that during support group. um, All right. Yeah, the spring thing. That was a great addition. Yes. You got
Mm-hmm.
anything else to say about that, or do we do the next question?
Grace said, "Oh no." No, I think that's good. I think that's
Okay.
good for that.
Good.
I have something for that a little bit of just like, which I think that, oh, this is gonna, I'm getting myself in trouble.
Yeah. Let's do trouble. Go. You are
Um,
ready. You are ready. You gotta cruise. You're cruising for a bruising.
I
Okay.
mean, might as well just like
Yeah.
lean into the
Rip that
skit.
band-aid off. Yeah.
Um,
Cheese band-aid off.
I've noticed with myself because part of me wants to, go and break social distancing and like hang out with my friends. I'm not gonna do that, but there's like a
Okay.
part of me. And then when I see people on Instagram who are doing that, it makes me so self-righteously angry. And I'm able to like, I've been able to be like, okay,
Yeah.
this isn't mine. Like, I can agree
Yeah.
that that's not how I would behave. And also the amount of like, that's so fucked up. I cannot believe that somebody would do that. Like
Okay.
this huge judgy Bay Area
Okay.
thing.
Because you feel
Um,
what?
because I feel jealous, I think,
Yes. Yeah. Of
and
course.
scared.
Of course. And it's hard to do the thing that matches your values. And then you see other people doing things that don't match your values. You're like, hey, why do they get to not give a shit when
Yeah.
I'm sitting here giving a shit? Like,
Yeah.
dude, that's so a one-way street to self-righteousness.
I know.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna like, that is really easy to validate. Why the fuck are they? And and I don't think you should do it, and you're not going to. There's where
Mm-hmm.
fear comes in handy. Is you're
Mm-hmm.
too much of a scaredy cat to do it, which is a good thing in
Yeah.
this case. Definitely. Like fear does, it's a survival
Mm-hmm.
instinct. So great that you're not going to do that. I think jealous and even pissed and scared and feel your feelings and then
Mm-hmm.
like move on.
Mm-hmm.
What does this say? Sometimes.
So my friend Andrea says, sometimes I feel guilty for not wanting things to go back to normal
Yeah,
and
right.
enjoy time off from normal life.
Yeah, I've been hearing this a lot, and I think that we can DBT this. So does wishing? Okay, this isn't even serious enough to do that with. I was going to do the justified unjustified guilt thing with
Mm-hmm.
it, but I just think that this is so natural. It's not even worth going through the steps. Like this
Mm-hmm.
people feeling guilty for, doing well during COVID or feeling guilt over part of them not wanting things to go back. First of all, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we ought to go back to
Yeah.
anything. Back is what got us here.
Mm-hmm.
I think we go forward and we take what we've learned from this and move forward with it.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that there is light and dark in all of us. I mean, who the hell hasn't had an impulse of, gosh, I hope that it never goes back. I mean, I could just, but that is a
Mm-hmm.
momentary thought, and we just let thoughts go by. We don't have to
Mm-hmm.
treat all of our thoughts as fact. So have your thoughts, Andrea. Like, don't bother feeling guilty about it. It's not like you're actually going out there and sneezing on people on purpose so that we have to stay in our houses longer. I mean, now that would be something that you could feel guilty about.
Yeah.
But being conflicted about a fantasy, fuck it.
I feel that.
Don't even worry about that so much. We got bigger fish to fry right
Yeah.
now. And I'm not trying to invalidate your feelings. I'm saying take it easy on yourself. We've all had that thought.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing
So
the
Allie
long from
says,
Melissa.
I'm actually really enjoying this time now that I've processed to focus on getting in touch with myself and self-transformation. How to allow myself to stay in joy and gratitude while conversing with sad and dark place friends.
Yeah, well, do what I do. Validate their emotions and then ask them. You can always ask your friends, is this one of those things where you want to vent or are you wanting suggestions from me? I really think that that's an important distinction right now that could really um, cut down on a lot of conflict. To just
Mm-hmm.
ask people, what do you need right now? You need me to listen to you and say nothing so that you can vent, or are we problem solving here? That's the
Yeah.
validation problem solving again.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would say, since we said empath already and that door swung open, for Allie in particular too, I would say that you probably want to put some boundaries around a bitch session, whether it's you bitching or somebody else venting. I think that you want to have some idea what your limits on that kind of thing are, so that you don't let somebody burn you out when you didn't establish boundaries in the first place. And if you don't know, because it's going to vary probably on the day too, but like keep it on the low side. Be like, okay, you got 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever
Mm-hmm.
to bitch about whatever you want. That's about as much as I can take in the place that I'm in. We all have a right to do that, and think about how much more screen time. I don't I don't know about you, but this is so much more screen time for me
Yeah.
than I'm used to. And I'm not even, I hit a wall I don't even see coming. I'll be like, oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
done. And then
I
I'm
find
pissed
myself on
and
like
I'm
the other
burned.
side where I'm like, I can't even like do anything anymore.
And I am really personally working on getting ahead of that because it's brand new. I don't know what the curve is. So I'm trying to figure it out before I'm like gonna hermit out on shit. But whoa, am I tired this week? I mean, there's full moon too, but I don't know what all the
Mm-hmm.
factors are. But maybe not. Maybe we pull back activity of any kind just a
Mm-hmm.
little. It's been 2 months now. I mean, almost 2 months. God, it feels like five.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, damn.
It's so bizarre. The
Yeah,
time thing is such a weird thing.
it is. What else we got there? Spread the love. How can I help and maintain boundaries? Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you got it. You got it. Okay, maybe one more.
Alrighty.
And you guys
Um,
can do, I mean, I'll do two more if somebody asks one,
mm-hmm.
but let's do one more on the list.
Um, let's look
So
for
much
a...
for staying away from COVID, huh?
Yeah, these are all that.
That's all right. That's okay. Whatever,
Yeah.
whatever the people want.
Okay. This one might be good for because it's like the end of like final season.
Oh
Grace had
yeah.
another one.
Okay.
Um, I always lose motivation for school in the last few weeks of the semester. How can
Yeah.
I navigate those last few weeks without avoiding?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. How the hell do you do that now? I mean, whose is that?
Grace.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great question, and I think that well, my first thought is don't do what Olivia's doing and say, "Oh, it's COVID. I get to completely blow off my last couple of weeks." Um, why don't we start with validating the emotions you're having about it? Yeah, the screens. The screens thing is real, serious burnout
Mm-hmm.
there. Um, Here's the thing, knowing Grace the way I happen to know Grace, um, this is a thing. And I'm glad that that was said first in the question. It is a thing, not just for Grace, it's for everybody. And Grace is really good at the like bullshitting and then believing it thing. Yes.
I
Yes.
feel
It is
that.
extra hard to be focused. So, what do you want? How do you want your semester to turn out? What kind of grades do you want when they get turned in? Because that is your choice. You have this is hard. This is fucking crazy hard. And it's still your responsibility. You're still paying for school. So, does it match your values to pay for school and then blow it off and call COVID? Especially when you're in unorthodox, where we have emotional intelligence and we behave according to our values. People, I mean, shit. I mean, I used to do that all the time in undergrad with professors I didn't like. Oh, that guy's a moron. I'm going to get a bad grade? Like, what sense does
Mm-hmm.
that make? And Grace does that too. And I think that, yeah, you
I
can
did
make
that.
shit
We
up.
all do
Yes, we all do that. And the maturity of it when you're paying for school is decide what kind of grade you want to get and get it. And it's, I mean, if you're not into grades, that's fine too. Learn what you want to learn, behave how you want to behave, make your choice. Don't just ragdoll it. And because if you feel shame, that's on you. Like if at the end you decide to, go possum on the whole last 2 weeks, which by the way, if that does not violate your values, go for it. It's not for me to say. Everyone has to decide for themselves. And if that does not violate your values and you're like legit burned and you want to just phone this one in, that's your call. I would say watch after for shame, and just be real with yourself about whether that's okay with you or not. It's your choice. You're grown. You get to decide. Olivia, did you want to say anything about that?
I think, well, something that for finals, like my big final tip that you taught me actually is the like, oh man, like, I really wish that I had a bunch of schoolwork to do that I've been avoiding during a national pandemic. Like, oh, I just want to do that so bad. Oh, wait, I do.
Yeah.
I think that's the best. That's like one
Opposite
of the best things.
action.
Yeah, I'm every single live that I'm in, I'm putting it in there. Fire me, I don't care. It's going to my grave, opposite action.
Yes. I do think that I love that technique because I don't think there was a single paper in undergrad that I started before like 10 hours before it was due. So, the sheer misery that one creates for themselves doing that, it just makes sense to be like, you know what? I wish I had a 15-page paper due tomorrow morning that I haven't even started. Oh, yes! I do have a 15-page paper due tomorrow that I haven't even started. Awesome. Because, like, it's absurd to do that to yourself, particularly because, you do it and then I don't know about you. I was always like, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
Of course I did. Of course I did it every single time.
Yeah.
And so the absurdity, there's something about like just calling yourself out on your own bullshit and getting real with it and getting to work. Like, I mean, I don't think I got less than a 94 on any paper. So where's the incentive to do it
Yeah.
differently? I mean,
And then doing the, like knowing that it sucks and doing it anyways.
yes.
And like validating that it sucks and
Totally.
you're still going to do it.
Totally. And the Californian way is not the way I did it, by the way. You guys torture yourself for all that time before. I'm out. Well, I won't tell you what I was out doing, but it was not stressing about the paper. I didn't think about the damn paper till the 10 hours before. If you can do that, more power to you. But you don't beat yourself up and then, oh my God, I can't believe I have to do this. Just crank it out and get it out. Get it done. What does she say? Is that Grace again? Okay, what are they saying?
Think you got to do gut
you.
check about not falling into perfectionism, but also knowing what my standards are.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Oh my God. Screw
yeah, and before that they're saying that they want B's.
Yes.
B's are where to aim.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's Grace. They'll probably get a fucking A anyway. And then we're going to laugh at them.
I did that every single paper that I turned in college. Or not every, I got better at it at the end.
You
but
did.
At the beginning, I was like, oh, like, I don't think I did that well, but, like, I guess I got a B and that's okay. And then I get, like, a 99 or some shit. Like, I get an A like, pretty much every single time and have to come back to JJ, like, tail in between my legs and be like, I got an A.
Yeah. The neck wringing impulse there every damn time. You did get better at it. You got much,
Mm-hmm.
much better at it.
Yeah.
And, confidence and trusting oneself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and
And
plus,
trusting your intelligence and your skill.
right, right. And a habit of hard work. You can phone it in to some degree right now. People can
Mm-hmm.
do that. I mean, everything is really lax academically right now. So I would
Mm-hmm.
mostly say, go get what you paid for as best you can,
Mm.
because it costs money and you're grown and you wanted to learn something. So just learn something and maybe don't worry so much about the grades. Okay.
I think that's good advice.
All right. I think we're done then.
Mm-hmm.
We will be doing the 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time from now on, I think. And spread the word, people. And this will be posted on YouTube in its entirety, right,
Mm-hmm.
Olivia?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And we'll have clips and stuff. But anyone that wants to send a question beforehand, you can instant message me on Instagram. You can get a hold of Olivia, whatever. And we will see you next week.
Have a good weekend, guys. Bye.
Bye.